Archie's going to be a sad puppy when we have to go back.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to go into the background,
Okay.
but I'll be here, and I've started the recording, so at the top of the hour, you'll be good to go.
Okay, so you're going to pass off the sharing to me. Is that what's happening?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Present. So our team that's out there, Carrie, Michelle, and Sheila and I, we spent a lot of time prepping for session 1, and then like what, 3 minutes prepping for session 2?
To make it, ladies.
Yeah, we're gonna be. I mean, prepped as in like practice. We practiced the first one really like hardcore. So this one we're a little bit more loose. I think we're good.
I think so.
I think we over planned for the first one, so we'll get it down. Yay! So we got over 100 today, and we're letting people in still. That's great.
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh, a flash from the past. Hi, Kathy Cook. How are you?
Hi, Tam. How's it going?
I'm good. I was just
Good
looking
to see you.
So good to hear from you too. How's your little guy's not so little anymore. I hope
Not
he's
so
doing
little. No, grade 7 this year. This is crazy, eh?
Wow.
It's so good to see you, though. This is an awesome session. Like,
Oh,
loved it yesterday.
Oh, thank you so much. Glad
You're
we
doing a
could
great job.
help people out. Okay, I see top of the hours. So good morning, everyone. If you're still joining, just don't worry. We're not going to do anything super important for the first 5 minutes or so other than say hello. This is new to SeeSaw Part B, and got the same people joining us today with our session, and hopefully you're finding the just right learning for you as we go through all this today. And again, if you missed Part A, that's okay. We'll do a little bit of review, and it is available in full recording for everybody to join. And I believe everybody's doing a great job about muting their microphones. That just helps with the feedback and helps make the recording clear. And video, I know I have to keep my video up, and Carrie and Michelle and Sheila are keeping their video up, so everybody else can close out their video as well. It just helps with the clarity. And as we get started today, we'll do our traditional territorial acknowledgement.
Here's a video.
Acknowledge that the land on which we are gathered is part of the traditional territory of the Chippewa, Odawa, Potawatomi, and Delaware nations. These indigenous nations, known as the Anishinaabe and the Nakau, agreed through their ancestral languages to the meaning of the land, with obligations and responsibilities to the environment. Today, these responsibilities and obligations extend to all peoples.
So this morning we have our regular crew back. So hi, Sheila.
Good morning. So for those of you I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Sheila Richardson. I'm one of the special education coordinators, and I'm really excited to be here and thrilled that you could be here to learn with us today.
Thanks, Sheila. And you're going to be taking over the chat room conversation. We discovered yesterday Sheila is like highly skilled at managing chat rooms, so she's going to slow me down and engage with your questions today. So she'll be monitoring all that. So just wanted to express my thanks to her skills. And Carrie, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm Carrie Miller. I'm an FTK teacher at Arrow Road in Sarnia.
Great. And we still have a couple of people with their mics on because we hear a little person saying hello to us this morning. Thank you. So if we can make our microphones closed off, please. And Michelle, busy household, Michelle Henderson. How's it going?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle. I'm an EC at Arrow Road, and I've been in a partnership with Carrie for our 6th year together.
Mm-hmm. And you two are having a little bit of buzz on Facebook because you're part of the Arrow Road You Are My Sunshine video.
Mm-hmm.
Sure are.
Very great to see people. And I'm Pam Gallant, a member of the elementary program team, and found out I've got quite a few friends from SeeSaw lately. So hopefully those of you that have tried to log on with your accounts and everything yesterday, we were able to get you hooked up. There are occasionally some situations that are like, I don't know what's that all about. So we will work through it together. And again, SeeSaw Help Desk has been fantastic with us. So just to ground ourselves, where we started up yesterday talking about these 6 remote learning guidelines. And we talked about each of them in length yesterday. We just wanted to review what they were. So the asynchronous learning, pace, prioritize, being available, intentionals in our teaching actions, and familiar. So we're really focusing on number 6, trying to get familiar with the tool. And again, the pace at which you release this to your students is your instructional decision. You have built great relationships with your students, so you will know if they are ready for this. And you will decide what's the most important thing for their learning. And actually, our whole professional learning model that we're doing for these next 3 days is an example of that asynchronous learning, that you can select the learning time that suits you. So is it live with us, being part of it? Or is it, I can't handle all the chats coming through and I need to view this later. So you have options in how you are learning best to support your students. So thank you for joining us today. And again, I think we're building a really strong connected community with us. We had a little wrap-up meeting yesterday with the presenters yesterday with Ben Hazard, our superintendent, and he was just blown away with people's eagerness to participate and learn. Felt really proud of the 1,500 educators that clicked in yesterday. And I say educators because we had ECEs, EAs, teachers, principals, all engaged in the learning. So it's been a really amazing start to our learning together. So Sheila, anything in the chat we need to address?
Just that everybody, I think, is feeling very privileged to be here and enjoying seeing their coworkers who are here this morning and learning. Since we can't see everybody in person, I think people are just really thrilled to see that others are connecting.
You know, that's great. I've asked everybody to turn their videos off, but I think at the end, I think we should throw them all on so we could see each other like in a Brady Bunch view and look and wave at each other for doing that. Okay, and Sheila, you talked about our schedule yesterday. Do you want to update us on that?
Sure. So again, today you've made it to SeeSaw Part 2. So this is our new to SeeSaw group, but we know that what you're looking for is different and may not be in alignment with what your coworkers are looking for. And so what we've tried to do is look at our SeeSaw learning as sort of 3 types of groups. One being new to SeeSaw. So this might be, you've kind of done a tiny bit of dabbling, but really are at the very beginning stages. So that's the group that we're with today. Our next group is, you're currently using SeeSaw to communicate. Maybe you're doing announcements back and forth with your classroom. And so you're looking for a little bit more kind of what's next. So that's our group that's at 12:30 today. And then our third group is really those frequent users of SeeSaw. You're quite proficient with it and you're looking for you may not have any idea what I speak of, and that's completely okay. And that advanced group. We have tried to make the learning in put it into really manageable chunks. So we're learning over 3 days. It is not the same presentation each day. So we started our learning yesterday. We're going to continue some more learning today, and then we'll meet again tomorrow at 9 o'clock again for additional learning. If you're in today's session and when we go through what we're going to cover today, you think, I've got that, this isn't for me, that's okay. You may leave this chat and come and go at any point that works for you. It is recorded, so go to the Lambton Kent blog spot in order to review it as you need to moving forward. And you can certainly go to the currently using and or frequent use of SeeSaw, or even after tomorrow, as you think, you know what, I've got this, I'd like some more extensions, please go to the program blog spot and review upcoming sessions. To get to the session today, how you got in and that code that you used today is the same code for all 9 of these sessions. And again, please feel free to participate in as many or as few as you wish to, and the learning is yours.
Great job summarizing that, Sheila. Thank you. I do want to point out, though, like we have the same thing happening with the Google Suites group, but at the bottom of the screen, I'm sorry, probably my slide thing is blocking a little bit. There's the piece about the Google Meet part. And we are meeting on Zoom, but we're finding that Zoom is not within the LKDSB domain like Google Meet will be. So if you're meeting with students, the Google Meet might be the place for you if you want to do some video chatting compared to Zoom. So if you are looking to see what setup a Google Meet is, and that is an identical meeting every day, and it is also required. Archived. So same content every day, talked about live, but then they're going to be videotape those. So just that's a great place to meet with students. There were some questions. I had someone question yesterday, like they had been using Google Suites, Google Classrooms, and came to the SeeSaw and really liked it, but they're like, ooh, do I do this with my students now? And if we go back to those principles, we want to make sure we're working with tools that are familiar with our students. So this learning you may actually put into September. So when we're actually starting off the new class. So you know your students the best, you will make the best decisions for them. Okay. So Carrie and Michelle were great helpers yesterday when we talked about what we were looking at. And so I'm going to rely on them heavily today as we go through a lot of live demos. They're going to give us their reflections with on how it worked in their classroom and what they might do next for themselves. So girls, you ready to do that again today? Ladies? Fred?
Yep. I'm ready.
That's good. Awesome. So I'm just going to talk about the update for today. Our focus will be update email accounts, just where we are on that. Talk a little bit about co-teachers, and this is co-teachers. We might revisit again tomorrow, just as you learn a little bit more and understand the focus a little bit more, and decide, yes, this is for me, or no, it's not for me in my class. And today a lot of talk about connecting with families, because really that is our most imperative part right now. We need to find a way to connect with our families, and that can be with a phone call or through technology. So this is one way we can choose to connect with families. Announcements is one of the functions that's offered on SeeSaw. So we'll go through that. So Carrie and Michelle will help me craft one and make sure I send it the right way. And then I said tools with the maybe ... We're going to go at a pace that this group dictates. So we're ready with the tools. We might get to 2 tools today, 1 tool today. There are 6 to look at. So we'll figure out how far we get along with that. So anything from the chat there, Sheila?
Oh, so far, you know, there was the one comment that's been made about Zoom has been hijacked lately. And so we've just indicated there is that reminder. Google Suites is an excellent platform to consider using moving forward. However, just to continue to consult with principals when determining platforms that work best for your student.
Right. I think you need to Zoom with adults is really what we're learning about. With that. So Google Meet is a great alternative. If we think about our little group, Carrie and I play volleyball together, And so we have been having group meetings and Facebook Messenger. We are on Zoom. We have had Teams meetings, and we practiced on a Google Meet. So
I never knew there were so many ways to meet other people, like virtually.
exactly. And
So
then I
I'm
think
going to
I
interject
actually,
one more time.
yep.
Carrie and Michelle, just being an FDK, have you had any success or do you have any thoughts in regard to trying to do an online meeting with FDK students, a platform that you feel would be most supportive?
Yeah, we have been thinking about it, and that's as far as we've got. So I probably am going to pop into one of those Google Meets to see if that's a good place to manage probably small groups. Yeah. I think that trying to get 30, I can't even imagine having
Mute
30
your mic. Mute your mic.
kindergartens in a Google Meet. So we've been thinking about that, but that's like that's not something I don't think you can do on SeeSaw that I'm aware of. So we'll have to look into Google Meet to do that.
Yeah, because I wondered if we can, like today, when we get into the tools, we can send links. So maybe we can send a link to a Google Meet.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, I hadn't considered that before. So
yeah, so keep that on. Just Cedar right here on that one. So we'll see if we can do that. Okay, so yesterday there was a lot of conversations about accounts, and so a lot of people discover they have an account, but it might have been like in that Gmail account. So if you are looking to do that, log in the way you normally do and click on that gear button, and you will get your find the steps for your account settings to reset. There have been a couple of people that are like, I tried that and it's not working. That's when you can email me and say, give me the old email, what you were trying, and help out, because I had to help out one person yesterday that SeeSaw went in and removed a class that she created like 3 years ago that was empty, and then that freed her up. So I can support you on that. But log in the regular way and get your gear function happening there. And again, the best way, if you have any login issues, an email chain, because there's a lot of things to remember. So if you create the email, send it to me. This is my scenario. Give me the details. Then we have our chain started, and I can make sure I'm following up with you or with the SeeSaw help as we need to go through forward. Okay.
So I'd like to ask another question. If you happen to be a French teacher, what are people's thoughts in regard to creating your own SeeSaw page dedicated solely to French, or continuing as a co-teacher with the idea that we don't want to overwhelm parents or students, and ensuring that communication is sort of using that one platform?
So excellent question. I know, like French teachers, if you were, my last school I taught at was Confederation School. So that French teacher had all the classes. So you're talking 250 kids. So that if you're creating your own SeeSaw accounts, that's now 250 emails to track down if you're solely going that way. So that's the beauty of the co-teacher to go along with that. But then again, as you may say, well, I only want to be in contact with 3 classrooms in that, so I can direct the learning with them. So maybe I can handle 3 classes worth of emails to collect and share. And then maybe all it is about sharing with your classroom teachers something with French, and then they can add it like as an attachment, and they can assign that through the SeeSaw. And because we're trying to remember that our students from kindergarten to grade 3, and then again also our students from grade 4 to 6, it's 5 hours of work a week that we're assigning, so we don't want to overwhelm. So let's keep thinking about that. But you do have options as that French teacher, how you go about it. And some French teachers already have their accounts up and running and going. So I'd like to, maybe I'll hunt out a few of those people and see how they've been managing all that.
Thanks, Sam, and thank you to everybody in the chat who is expressing their own personal experiences as French teachers that have been added as a co-teacher and are finding that to be a very successful platform.
Awesome. The other function that we've discovered that Zoom has, Zoom records our chat. So we take that and do their magic. Ra does the magic. So if you look at our video from yesterday, underneath it, you will see a record of the chat. And so you can click on that. If you were trying to figure out what somebody said in that chat, it is saved and recorded there. So if you're giving great pieces of information there, then that's a place you can go to look for. And but do remember though, we have the responsibility to make sure we're following the memos and the guidelines that are given out for our district. So like yesterday, there was some question, we talked about office hours, like being available. And in this session, we talked about it being about an hour. And then the next session I sat in on, they were like, I think it's 2 hours. And we weren't really sure. So we're still researching that. But I think it's at least an hour. But you yourself will dictate how long you have those office hours open. So just remember, like, let's be reflective about the comments that we have there. So yesterday, we did these things. We talked through how to get an account. We got logged in and we were at the point of adding students and knowing that you don't have to add all the students right away. So that's where we were yesterday. So today did I miss a slide? I feel like I'm missing a slide there. So we're going to connect with our families today. Oh, I already did what we're doing. Yeah, so we're going to connect with our families. So let's start with that. We are going to find a page. We're going to go live. So I'll get Carrie and Michelle to help guide me through this. It will require a family email, and then through some digging yesterday, mobile phone numbers work as well too. So just if you're thinking about what do I have available, that is where we are. So I'm going to exit out of this for a moment and get into my SeeSaw class.
So I made a note when I was looking at, as you do that, I'll just talk. I made a note as I was looking at the slides last night, and it just reminded me that when you're adding your families, obviously the only way you can add them is through email or text, you said, but you can't send home a paper copy because that's one of the options. Right. So when you get into the email that you're going to send, you're going to want to change the wording a little bit to reflect what you're using it for, because it's kind of standard. So I would recommend that once you've changed the wording to what you want it to read, another thing is that I added my teaching partner on there too. So instead of being me, it was we, and it was from Mrs. Henderson and Mrs. Miller. And so I made sure that I copied the whole thing first before I sent it, so that when I went in to send all the other 27 emails, I just had to highlight it, paste it on, and send it again, and I didn't have to change each one individually.
Nice. Okay.
Hey Pam,
So
there was one question that a co-teacher was added through their personal email. To get the paid one for school, you need to be under the .com or .net, right? So that would have to be changed. Correct.
Yeah. So get that co-teacher to go in and change their email to an LKDSB piece. Yes. Okay, so that's one of the functions with the the SeeSaw for schools, like the co-teaching, and is much larger capacity to go along with it. Okay, so we're going to add some families. So down at the bottom, yesterday we added students. So today we're going to add some families. So my Clem and Doreen, let's go find out how to connect with them. Okay. So as Carrie said, if we were in the classroom, probably use that print invite. Is that what you guys did?
Say again?
When you were back in the classroom, did you do the print invites?
No, I shared an invite link.
Okay, so, but if you were in the classroom, like we had kids in front of us, there's a printout, you can put it in the backpack, send it home, that sort of thing going along.
I understand you could, yes. I never did that myself, but yes.
Right, and then, so you can also share by invite link. So I think that's the way we're going to focus on today to go with that. So I'm looking at my student and it says family member, email, or mobile number. So I'm going to be the mommy here. Okay, .com. And if we wanted to add another family member, we could do that as well. And I think that's really important for us to think back. If we already have our class set up, we might have one family that we communicate with, but that might be something that parents ask us if we can add another one, and absolutely you can add a second one there as well. And I'm going to go down to, so David, I'm going to be his, these are twins, I'm going to say. So they're in my class. .com I said, right? And I'm a horrible typer, so give me a break here. So I'm just going to do 2 right now, and because I can go back to do that later. Some people are wondering about the pace of doing this, so maybe you have a trusted friend that, you know, or a family member you're in from your class that you're in contact with a lot. Maybe you start with them and know you're going to get some responses back. So I'm going to invite families. Okay, and I invited 2 families to connect, and you can always remove connected families through your class settings. So that's good to know. And invite more families. And there we go. So if I want, so show that we are connecting with them. Okay. So down here at the bottom.
And while you're scrolling through,
yeah.
While you're scrolling through and doing this, so say there are twins in one class, or maybe it's a split class and we have 2 students from the same family in the same class. Will they get double the email and communication, or will they just be getting communication every time that there is a post as it relates to one of their children?
I believe they will get it double, because every time we send a notification about a child's artifact in their journal, it will go to that parent for that. But Carrie, Michelle probably can explain more on that.
So they will only get a single notification if it is for the journal, for their child's journal. But if you send an announcement, they're likely going to get it twice.
However, when you can choose all families when you send an announcement. So I believe you could probably go in for that parent. It would be time consuming though, and omit that child if it really bothered the parent, because it'd be a lot of work to have to go in every time and take that person out, but it could be done.
Yeah, we'll check into that, because I think I can only send it as an announcement. I was looking at that, sending to kids or sending to parents or sending to both. So I don't know if I can.
It doesn't look like I can change that.
Okay.
Yeah. So just down here at the bottom, again, I'd like to know what's going to happen with this. So what happens after I send an invite? So I'm going to click on this SeeSaw help desk so you can read through this as well. So there's a little video there to watch, professionally done compared to what we're doing. And so they're going to, so we did that. We clicked on the button, and we need to talk about that turning on the family access. So I'll show you where that will prompt you. And then we are doing this by email. So I'm gonna click on that one. So they will get this. This is what we did. We entered in some password, email addresses, invite families. I'm going to show a family connecting. Okay. And what do families see when they are invited? So if we click on that, they are going to get a message, an email directly in their parent personal email box. And then they will need to choose to connect to the child's journal. And then they'll be prompted to sign up for SeeSaw. Okay, create an account. If it was a text message, they will do that. Showing up there. Okay. And so they will have to go into their app store to get the SeeSaw Family app. And I believe most people are pretty comfortable with that. So all of this is here. I won't go through the reading of it all, because I know people will enjoy doing that at their own pace. Carrie, anything there? Or
no, it's funny because I said that about copying and pasting for the, but you can ignore that because the new paid one is so much different than when I first sent it out. So it looks like it's quite a bit different.
Things we
so
learn.
It must be standard. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so I need to
And
find my
from a
class.
parent perspective, because I have used it for a number of years, or my children's teachers have used it for a number of years, and it's come to me as a parent. Once I have it go to my email directly, so every time that there's a change, I just get an email and I can click on it. It's quite slick. I really do enjoy doing it. I can communicate directly with the teacher, and I can see exactly what my children are doing throughout the day and keep caught up with announcements. But as Pam has outlined, there's also an app if people are comfortable using that, and that's really slick as well. So I can speak from the parent perspective that once you have it up and running, it is very straightforward.
I'm going to exit out of that and get back to my, oh, I need to find my class again. Sorry, guys. I lost myself. Switch to my teacher account. Go back where we are.
So Christy Mott said, once a family announcement is sent, how can both the teachers see the responses? Her ECE is not seeing them. Carrie and I discovered that we have the same issue because when we were in the classroom, it didn't really matter. We could just share information in person, and just I would tell her if I said something, if I had a conversation with a parent. But once we get into it'll come later, but once you get into home codes, that's how we're now going to do it. So we won't be using the announcements during the home learning time. We're going to be using SeeSaw a little bit differently so that we both have access to what we're sending home.
Right.
So it's going to, once we get into sending home codes, then we'll be able to explain that.
Exactly. And I think it's really the kindergarten ECE partnership that are concerned about that communication, because you've worked as a team and you communicate as a team, and families see you as a team. When you are in the teacher and co-teacher as a prep teacher, that helps isolate, like if I'm the social studies teacher and people have questions, the communication's coming to me about my social studies piece, and it's not bothering the homeroom teacher for that. So it's that special relationship that's been developed between the teacher and the ECE that really, like the co-teaching is great, but then there's a gap there for you because of your unique working situation. Michelle talked about the home codes. In this new to SeeSaw group, I'm not touching that button. That is brand new learning. I think this home code button is about 2 weeks old, and in our people that are really proficient with SeeSaw are just exploring that button. So if you are, once you feel comfortable and get going on, the home code learning information is from the SeeSaw 3 group. So they're working through this as well. But just to give you an idea, it will actually help you kids use SeeSaw at home like they do at school, like so with the full functionality. But we've got some other learning we want to do first. So back in that wrench setting, I should just, we could also connect with families here, but I did this already. This button here, enable family access, was white, and it has to be green. So if I hadn't already clicked that, when you went to families, you would be prompted to click that button. So it helps, SeeSaw helps you out to figure out, to make sure you have the family access there. And this is where you can get into the invite family button again. SeeSaw has lots of places where you can find this information. Somebody was asking about managing the families and pending approvals. So this is where you can see what's going on. So it has who's waiting to get into that. I don't know why that's not working for me right now. Oh,
yes,
there we go.
If you go into manage student families, that's where you'll be able to see how many people have connected and who has not connected.
Okay, so we can see that I'm being a good mommy and answered my email already. They're in, and I haven't sent these ones out there. So it's a nice sort there. I know some teachers are really wanting to have that connection with families, and there's a lot of stress being created by oh, I have SeeSaw and I've 20 of my kids are on SeeSaw, but only 10 of them have checked in with me. We know we're dealing with a situation where families are handling this home learning in totally different ways. So Maybe those are the parents, so we just need a phone call out to say, hey, we're already connected on SeeSaw. Can you have a look? I've been sharing, I have a message I'd like to share with your son or daughter. And love to hear back from them. But we know we're not going to have perfection on that communication. We have many of our students that have great access to Wi-Fi in their homes and have devices. And then we have other kids that are really struggling to get connected. So we have to honor where we are.
Pam, while we're in here and managing families and connecting with families, there is a question that is that they have the option to put in a phone number, or sorry, they don't have the option to put in a phone number. The only option is email.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go back and look at that again. Manage families. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go back in the way I know how to do it. Invite families. I'm going to go back here and do that. Yeah, so I think you can, in that same box, it doesn't say mobile number in theirs.
Huh. I think it depends on whether or not you're in the app or whether you're on the,
Oh, good.
whether you're in, through a web page, because I looked at the app and I touched the invite family members and I don't get that same page. But when I'm in like Outlook and I'm on through a browser, then when I invite families, I get the option to add the mobile number.
Okay, thank you. Because I do everything on my computer when it comes to this stuff. So, but I know practicing teachers is using their handheld device. So thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we have one other question. So users are really wanting to dig in and do a great job with SeeSaw. They've been added as a co-teacher and are very excited about that. However, there's some anxiety over going into one of their teachers' accounts and maybe doing something that they shouldn't or undoing things that they wish they hadn't. Way that they can set up a practice account to sort of get that workflow, or do you have any suggestions about how they can move forward to feel confident and comfortable?
Right. So I understand that because, you know, it's, you know, we share markers and we share math manipulatives and we share paper, but don't mess with my technology. I can understand that.
I can tell you the other day when I was looking at our SeeSaw account, I noticed there were a lot of announcements that were old and didn't need to be there anymore. So I kind of started to go through and I deleted some of them. And then I looked and then I tried to delete some other ones and I thought, why can't I delete this picture of a water bottle? Because we don't need it here anymore. Why can't I get rid of that? And I realized it was because I didn't make the announcement, but my teaching partner made the announcement. So she's the only one who can get rid of it.
That's comforting. But I also think this is a good time to talk about learning from home and pace and volume. So even though we're co-teachers and we can add things on SeeSaw, there might need to be some communication. Like, so if I'm your curriculum partner team and I've got a great little science experiment I want to do, I would reach out to the homeroom teacher and say, I'm going to put this on as an activity for kids to complete this week. Would that be okay? Does that fit in what the whole learning is for your group? Just so we're not overwhelming each other and our learners and our parents at home. So, but that's because I have that relationship with Carrie, I can do that. I might even text her and say, hey, I'm doing a science experiment, can we put it on? She'd be like, yep. Or I might have to send a little bit more information about that. This is new learning for us all.
Pam, Carrie and I actually just discussed yesterday, because we were both posting a lot of stuff, and we said, why don't we do a video chat, plan out what we're each going to do, and then we're going to also do a video chat with our other co-teachers, the prep teacher and our EA, and have a discussion about how we can like work together so it's cohesive.
Excellent idea. And you probably got a little chat, FaceTime too. That's good. So I'm looking at your time. We probably need to get into making an announcement. So I'm going to push the green button. Can I do that? I'm going to push the green button. So what?
Yes.
So we're going to focus on first sending an announcement. I'm going to click on that. And this announcement will take a little bit of time to cook. So I'm going to think, who do I want to send this to? And sometimes,
so now, you'll have an option of sending it to all students or all family members. And I know initially I was sending it to like that bottom one, all three, and then I realized that I didn't need to do that because my students were not connected to it. So
Right.
I think the all students would definitely be for ones that are older.
Yeah, and in
and
class.
can manage the message on their own.
Right.
But if you want to send something to parents, it's just the families.
Right. So right now we can see I only have one email attached to that. So that's interesting because I had 2 kids in the class, but the same email. So it must be only going once.
Oh,
That's
maybe.
good to know. Okay, so, and then all students and all family members. So I'm going to click on that one. So then, and this just becomes like a little note. So I could say, hello.
I think you just need to do all families because you're
Okay.
only sending it to the families.
Okay, I'll go back and edit that. Miss you all. I will be posting. Oh, so you can tell I'm not a typer.
Can you just repeat why you were saying you may not want to send it to all families and students again?
Well, if your students are not set up, as in you've done something with them in the classroom to set them up to receive notifications anyway, they're not going to get the message.
Right.
And so if you have set them up, then they're going to get the message too, but maybe it's just for parents.
Right.
So,
Well, in kindergarten, our students aren't reading our announcements, so we're
Right.
only
Right.
sending them to parents.
So if I was teaching grade 5 and I wanted to make an announcement like tomorrow we are having our assembly, make sure you bring in your hat and your props. And I want that just to go to my grade 5 class, I could just send it to my kids and they are
Right.
getting that announcement SeeSaw. Or I want like parents to know, thank you very much for responding to the interview note. I look forward to seeing you all next week at interviews. That's just for moms and dads.
right.
Maybe I might need to go back to my assembly thing. All kids, you need to bring your hat and your props tomorrow. And we all know that most of the kids can do that, but like a handful of them need a parent at home going, hey, do you have your hat? Put it in your backpack. So like depends on the nature of your message to go along.
And the age group you're dealing with. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, so I'm gonna go to all family members to do that. If you'd like to add an attachment, you can. So just like an email, you can add an attachment if you've got a file you want. So this may be how we send work to students or another message. I'm not gonna do that now. And I'm gonna click the button that says send now. So that's going to happen. And that has gone to a message family announcement. So anybody that had that communication started out will receive that as an announcement. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to review, we did send an announcement. We picked who we wanted to send it to. I do this with email. Sometimes I type my announcement and like get it all done, and then I decide who's going to see it to do that. And then once it's finished, I could add an attachment if I want, and I could send it now. So easy peasy. Okay, so now we also have the option to post student work. So this is Carrie and Michelle. You've been doing this a lot. This is going to be where we get into thinking about that journal. And I actually made one yesterday, so I'm going to show it to you first so we can kind of see what our learning, what we're getting towards by using something, some of the tools.
Hi everyone, I miss you so much. I can't wait till we get back to the classroom and share some books together and have lots of adventures outside. And yes, do some math. Yeah.
Okay. And so you can, if you look over here now at the journal, everybody has one journal item in there. Because when I created that, I chose to assign that journal artifact to everybody. I'm going to repeat the steps to how to do that. So Carrie and Michelle, I'm looking for you to give some reflections and like, yeah, you can do that and get going.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with post student work. And these are our tools that we're looking at. And I do want to say, again, SeeSaw to the rescue has information on all of these tools, how to go and do them. So I started with the photo. And so the first thing, oh, you know what, I can't do this because you're looking at me. I wonder if I turn off my video for a second, if that will happen. Okay, let's see. Let's try it again.
All right. So
yeah, there I am. Okay.
Normally, just
Yeah.
so you know, normally we already have the pictures and we are more likely to upload the photo than to take it in real time.
Good. So that's why the second thing, I've got a picture ready for that. Oh, there's my.
Okay,
So-
good. Sorry.
So yeah, so you're going to see me in live photography here, and like, yeah, I'll find the best lighting. Okay. So take a picture. Oh, that's awful. Anyway,
That's fine.
if I don't like it, delete and start over. Come on. You're going to do that too. Find the. Okay. Look at the look at the
Look
light.
up.
is
Look
what I have
up.
to remember. Yeah, it's getting worse. I'm going to stop. So it's more than the picture. So we can like draw on the picture just like you did with your smartboard. So you can say hi, anything like that.
So you might want to use that to highlight whatever work that they're doing. That would be, those tools would be good to say, this is what to circle something and say, this is what you're looking at when you look at this.
Right. Oh, hello.
Now-
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is where we would also, I think it's the little quotations at the bottom, and that's where we would put down what learning the parent is looking at.
Ooh, neat. Okay, I hadn't got that far. So, because I'm working down through these ones here. So that's good. Because I didn't know what that was. Okay, so did the text?
Go to quotation marks.
Quotations.
Yeah, but I'm just going to review where I've been. So we've done the text, which is up here at the top. So a lot of people are using this for like, your scavenger hunt. If you've taken a picture of all the things you found, kids could type in and label what they found. This is for recording the message. Hello, everyone. I'm getting lots of instructions from Carrie and Michelle today. And oh, there's a done button up in the corner. So I can play that.
Hello, everyone. I'm getting lots of instructions from Carrie and Michelle today.
There you go. And we are hearing so much feedback about kids wanting to hear their teacher's voice. So that's great. So I've got that in there. And so picture. So what's the ... Oh, shapes and background.
I don't know. I've never used it.
It's like emoji land. Yay. Background. I can put the blue background. Oh, that's just the background of the page. Pick blue. So those of you out there, I know you're with me. You will spend a lot of time making this pretty. But then the learning. Oh, so we can say, so I can voice this in. Let's try that.
You can, but we normally just type it and would say, we might use language from the curriculum documents where we would put, is learning how to count to 10 by touching each object or something like that.
Okay, so maybe this is about naming objects.
So in your experience, how long can a video last or be?
So this isn't a video, this is just a photo. And
yeah, so if we go back when you were doing the video, we've got somebody who's curious. Do we know how long a video or even a voice message? Is there a cutoff point where they will?
Right.
I've 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, so right there it says add voice caption. So if I wanted to give some instructions about naming an object, I could say, hi everyone. Take a look in the picture, name all the objects you can find. So I have 5 minutes to give some instructions with that. We're hearing from people like our students that might need a little extra support from the spec ed world. Having a written instruction and an audio instruction is great. Our ELL families appreciate that too, not having to deal with reading. They like to listen, so it's a great option. Once I've got my beautifully created journal, and look at that, with SeeSaw for Schools, you can add many pages. So this could be, maybe this is something that you can create a storyline, like, you know, first, then next, or beginning, middle, end, so they can add things there. This can also be drafted, which is a SeeSaw for Schools option. To pause that, and I'm gonna post it all here. Oh, upload failed. I wanna try it again. Wi-Fi be strong.
Yeah, somebody asked about how long the video would be, but could be, but you want to keep in mind that the longer the video is, the longer it's going to take to upload.
Yes. Okay. So here, you don't want to watch the upload thing. I got a lot going on in the background, so I wonder if I can pause that for now. I seem to be stuck. Oh, there we go. So now I get to decide who gets this message. So I could give this to everybody, or if I had my grade 5-6 class, I might decide to give this just to my 5s and give my 6 something else. I think this is a great place to differentiate. So if I wanted to, if I have 3 kids that are working on alternative programs, I might create something just for them and assign it to them. So lots of options on this. So I'm going to click on give it to everybody though in this case. You can see my mess. And I had set up some folders already. So I'm going to put it in there. You may not have folders up right just yet. So when you get to this spot, it might be create a folder. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. We're talking about tools today. Okay, so I'm going to put it on that. So uploading.
So generally we use the journal as a place to put the kids learning.
Yes.
Not to send messages, it's just to put the students learning. So we would usually only click on the student who is actually in the picture. And then the parents get that journal entry and can look at it.
Okay, let's talk about that again. So because if we're, right now I'm at home, I'm trying to figure out ways to communicate to families some, like a hello message, or maybe even talk to some learning. So that's how I was standing up. But I love that you're in class perspective. In your class perspective, if this was my work, you would only put this in my journal and it would go just to that family member.
Right.
Okay, so so what Carrie and Michelle have been doing, like that's how we've been using SeeSaw in the past. Pam's learning goes into Pam's journal and goes to Pam's family.
Right.
Now we're looking at learning at a distance. So I'm thinking, how do we manage this? So I might send some learning with that. Okay.
Yeah, I never thought of doing it that way. Yeah. So thanks, Pam.
Well, I thought about that around 11:30 last night. I'm like, maybe I could. So this is what I was thinking this morning. So Carrie was asking about like the pictures already taken. So that I did the photo one. So now down here, this is the photo. So I'm going to, or a file or a video. So I'm going to go and click this one, something I already have. And I'm going to select it because I put it in Google Drive. And it is in my SeeSaw. Where is my SeeSaw? Oh, SeeSaw home. That's all the work we're doing, people. And I have a little experiment growing. You can ooh and ah once it shows up. And I can add a whole bunch of photos too, because I think if I'm the science teacher, ooh, I might want to do a little before, beginning, middle, and end kind of thing. But I'm just going to go with one right now. And so there's my picture of me growing something. So again, that might be my question. So using the quotation marks, I might put in some learning there. This is science learning. Text, I might just ask a question. What do you see? I can do another one. What do you wonder? And I'm thinking this might be something a family can do, and they don't need to come back and like they can just talk about this with that, and I can record my questions. What do you see? What do you wonder? And then I could ask some examples. So the picture this time came from a file, but still used all the same kind of tools.
Your parents would actually be able to add comments to that. So if you posted that in all of their journals, they would be able to comment on behalf of their kids, or the kids would be able to comment depending on the age level you're working at.
While we're on this slide, can we ask a couple of clarification questions?
Absolutely.
So with the quotation, can we revisit the quotation marks? And could you review when you use those quotation marks, who is seeing what is written there?
The parents would see that.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. We also have someone else that's trying out the video feature, and they didn't get any sound on the video they recorded. Has anybody had any success in terms of why? Would that be that their mic is turned off, or anybody else have any strategies?
I'm not.
It probably has something to do with your settings, and you may be muted right now because you're muted in the Skype session. I keep calling it Skype, Zoom session. Like, remember I had the issue where I couldn't use my camera because I was using it in Zoom. It may be because you're connected within Zoom that the microphone's waiting for you to talk. So it might be interrupting there. So my little science experiment, like Carrie and Michelle would do, maybe if this was Clem and Doreen were working on this, I could take this if I was in the classroom and put their work in their folder. Or I can, in this case, I might be thinking about sending that wondering to everybody. So you as a teacher decide who gets this and why. So,
and Deborah, just to touch on that, you might need to go into your settings, into general, and then go into the SeeSaw app under your settings and just make sure your microphone is turned on for that app. So go into your general settings, go to SeeSaw, make sure that it's turned on in that setting.
and I just quickly made a folder for science. Sneak peek of tomorrow. Oh, we are 4 minutes away from the end. So let's take a look at what's been in there. So there is what Clement, everybody's going to have that artifacts. There's now 3 ideas. So all of those families that are connected will get a picture of this. When they click on it, they will be able to play the recording. I hope to see that. There's our ... dots. Oh, we can edit it after, delete it. Oh, that's a good button to find.
Yes. You can even
here,
you can even change whose folder it is in, because I have accidentally put students' pictures in the wrong journal, and I've been able to go back in. You can see edit people, or edit folders, so you can change things once you're in there.
Awesome. That is like usually the first thing I look for. Where's the undo button? So there it is, right there. And going on with that. Okay, so those are some of the tools. I want to be cognizant of time. 3 minutes away here. But so tomorrow we're going to continue on, and we'll be looking at drawing and video and notepad and links. That's our goal for tomorrow. And anything else, girls, do you think we should be looking at? I keep calling you girls, friends, ladies.
We never did touch base on the skills portion on our documents. We can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, so skills, actually, like in the kindergarten world, people are pretty excited about the skills because they have them all in there. For those of us that are in different grades, there are no skills for us to do yet. We might have to create them. So I'm not sure if we're ready for that yet at this time, but I think we'll be going towards that. So we'll focus on codes, or some people like to get really organized. So you guys have folders. Michelle, do you put things in folders? Is that how you work?
So Carrie set up our folders with our four from the communication of learning, and did like our demonstrating language and math behaviors, problem solving, innovative, and then we can put those pieces into those folders, which makes it easier because that's how I share my documentation with Carrie when she's writing her communication of learning.
Awesome. Okay, so kindergarten teachers might like the 4 frames. Those of us 1 to 8 might like folders that are subject-based. That's sort of something to think about. Okay, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. We did what we said we were going to do. How about that? So we said we were going to connect with families. So we've modeled that, and knowing families can connect through an app or the web. So they'll have choice on that. If you need some help, write in, how do I invite families in schools, in the SeeSaw help, and that will get you through lots of detailed information about that. We talked about announcements, a great way to reach all families or students in the class. And we didn't talk about this today, but you can once your people are hooked up with classes, they can message directly through the inbox, so one family member to the educators. We talked about the announcement in that big green add button. How does the messaging work? And we talked about posting student work using, and we had a little bit of a conversation about in the classroom and home learning, how that branches on. But this link up here, if you just type in creative tools, you will find lots of information about all of these creative tools. And Sheila, how are we doing on questions? If people have to step out, totally understand that. But if Rod's going to kick us out in about 4 minutes, I bet, because he has to get ready. But any questions?
So we do have one. Are the SeeSaw sessions a good prerequisite for Google Classroom?
They're totally different platforms, but the idea is all about how to share information with students. So if you learn how to upload a video and put it in SeeSaw as an attachment, that's going to be a skill that you'll use in Google Classroom. Like there's a lot of skills that you'll use in both, but the platform that you're looking at will be totally different. It's like, you know, in elementary school, we do reading and writing and science and social studies. It looks one way, but then you go to high school, reading and writing and science and social studies look a little different in high school. So it's a different environment that you're working in. If you're ready to go and learn, have a peek at it, I would start looking at the new Google platform, and you'll see lots of comparisons.
Thanks, Pam. We have one other question that takes us back again to something we started to address earlier today. But someone has noticed that there is the option in another teacher's SeeSaw to create a class. Could that be done as a test class, or should we really just be looking as co-teachers to collaborate with our teaching partners and really work with them about how we can navigate their SeeSaw classroom together?
Well, I like how people are being creative. I'm going to have to research that one. So if you could make sure we save that one, that question, and I'll try to figure out what that all means. So again, if you're looking for any of the recorded sessions, the LK Elementary Pro blog spot is available for you. And when you link into that, you will get to this website link that has all of our sessions archived there as well. So tomorrow, where to next? We will be looking at finishing off the tools. Carrie and Michelle, what else do you think we should look at?
Well, there was talk about folders, right? People wanted information on folders.
Yep, keeping organized right off the bat. That's one thing the Google session started off with, is about making folders. So, because it's important to be organized in the long run, right? So you can find things out. So that's a good place to start. If you are interested in giving us some feedback about this session or all the sessions, the tiny URL is LKDSB-RL, so remote learning. So we welcome your opinions, your ideas. We're looking at those daily. But if you want to wait until after session 3 to give us a reflection on all of it, that's fine too. I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for this short but dense learning session. Carrie and Michelle, thanks for hopping in, and Sheila, the wizard on the chat again.
And Pam, I just want to echo that. Thank you to our presenters. This is so exciting. I'm Ben, and I get to jump in and chime in every time. But we want to say thank you to our presenters. It's really impressive that we're able to have such customized and local and responsive learning for teachers and for our whole elementary system. So thank you. That doesn't happen without their big amount of effort to keep this happening, but we really appreciate the work that everyone's doing as we all work together and are trying to figure this out and try to make sense of it. So I just want to say a big element of gratitude and thanks to everyone for jumping in today and being part of this learning. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Ben. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So Rod, I'm going to give you back control here.